Hi, I'm Maggie Pashley and I live and work in Sligo as a therapist and a facilitator of workshops. And today I just wanted to talk about working with those really thorny blocks that we might have to something. And while I'm a great believer in keeping things as simple as possible and working on them very simply, energetically, which can work amazingly well, I think there are times when we have to dig deeper, or we have to go to more unexpected places, more unusual places. And I just wanted to talk about some of the work I have been doing with clients using something called a future life progression, which involves either going into a future life and exploring different options. It can involve going into a past life or into an ancestor's life, and understanding where some really deep-seated blocks may come from. So I just wanted to talk about a couple of sessions that I did recently, which really were very profound for the people that I worked with, and made quite a big shift for them. And so the first one was one I did on somebody who had a block to creativity, that they felt that they always felt they had to sort of justify the kind of way they express themselves. They felt that when it came to expressing themselves more intuitively or spontaneously, they had both a real drive to do that and a block to doing it. So, and when we had the future life progression, or the FLP session, because actually some of it went back into the past as well, we first explored a past life where he had lived very much in touch with the land, very much in touch with the rocks and the environment. He'd fished and hunted and so on, and he'd had a sense of working with ritual and working with in magical ways to focus on really daily survival. And in many ways it was fulfilling, but he always regretted not really meeting, as he put it, a magician. And so there were things definitely to be garnered from that life, and there was a sense of there was some progression that was waiting to happen that hadn't yet happened. And then we went into this present life earlier on in his childhood, and he saw his mother really kind of browbeating him, telling him how he should express himself, even doing his homework for him and showing him and telling him how he should colour in particular images, and how that had really cramped his style. And so we broke links to that. We broke links to energetic links to that time. And then he was able to walk through another door and see a different future for himself opening up. And the feedback I've had from him is that he's feeling really freed up by this. He's expressing himself much more creatively, and he is daring quite naturally to do his own thing and not worry about what other people think, or whether he's got enough footnotes or enough reference sources to justify the way he expresses himself. And so for him the feedback was it was really profound, and so that's very gratifying for me. And yes, it just feels, I can feel the energy change during the session. So the next person that I wanted to talk about was a man who is, I think, a really wonderful healer, and he also works in similar ways to myself. And I think he's very gifted, and he has got or has had blocks to expressing himself in public, especially leading groups, although he has a real gift and a real drive again to do that, but just feels that he was holding himself back for whatever reason. And he was convinced this block would be a past life block, and I just said to him, well, let's just keep an open mind, let's see where we go. And where we did actually end up going was into an ancestral memory, and he went back and saw an ancestor who was a woman, who was a healer, who helped lots of people in her village and really did a lot of good. However, her husband was very angry that she was doing this, because it was unusual, and he felt that it brought disregard for himself. He was frightened about what the local community might feel. And so she had spent her whole life doing some really wonderful, empowering work for local people, while at the same time feeling that she had to hide, that she had to somehow placate her husband, that she wasn't free to enjoy the wonderful work that she was doing. And in the final scene of life, she saw herself receiving a real huge blow to the head and knew that she had died, that she had been killed. Her husband had hit her, finally had been so frightened and so angry and so disapproving that he had hit her on the head with a very large stone and killed her. And that might sound like a terrible, awful session to experience, but when we do this work, we're not going back into the feelings. We can see what's happening, we can appreciate what's happening, we can get the learnings from what's happening, and most importantly, we can disconnect from that energy that we're still linked to, that is still influencing our choices today. So it's very, very liberating, and people do come out feeling really empowered. So in his case, he was able to thank this ancestor for her courage, for her bravery, for all that she had done, let her go to the light, be completely disconnected from her energy of fear and having to hide that had been still affecting him. And again, when he came back, he looked very different, he felt very different. And interestingly, he was also telling me that his mother had died recently, about a few months ago, and that when she died, she left behind lots of healing books and lots of crystals, actually, that surprised him, because she'd never ever spoken about this. She'd never revealed anything to him that was one of the things that she did. But it would make absolute sense that she might be very wary of revealing that and sharing it with him. But as it happened, he did have the legacy of these amazing crystals, healing books, that she had left for him because nobody else in the family were interested in it. And now he's free to use them and to really empower himself and others with that. So very, very interesting work, very deep work, and very it's something that can send a ripple through your life and create quite a different impact in many areas, not just one. So if there's some area of your life that you feel that you've tried lots of things to figure out and it hasn't worked, and you're interested in exploring where a particular restriction might come from, or indeed if there is a particular skill or gift that you would like to connect with, where you sense that there is a skill or a gift that you're drawn to developing that you may have not really been able to do so far, then we can work on that. We can also go into the future and look at different choices that are available for you, different choices and options that you could choose, and which one of those is going to be the most satisfying for you. So going back into the past can often be something we do to heal something, and going into the future can be something where we go to, in a way, go beyond what we've ever done, and go beyond into that place with a greater freedom, having dumped all the blocks from the past. So if you want to check out my webpage for this, it's on my website. So that's maggiepashley.com. And I'll probably put a link to it below, maggiepashley.com /past life, future life. You can see that on the drop down menu, the lists of modalities. And I do this both in Sligo, where I live, and I also do it online, so you can have a session with me wherever you are in the world, and it's done using hypnosis in a very comfortable, easy way, and people are surprised at how easy it is for them to relax and to allow their mind to take them to where they need to go to resolve things that they've had difficulty resolving. So if you feel like getting in touch, I'd be very happy to work with you. If you feel you would like to speak to me beforehand, I do offer a free 15-minute consultation. You can simply book in for that and have a chat with me to see, to discuss what your particular issue is and how the FLP might work for you. So I look forward to working with you if it feels like something that speaks to you. Thank you.